It's a shame. You think speed is your ally, InuYasha and Koga. You merely adopted the speed. I was born in it, molded by it. I don't know why I sound like Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, but it seems appropriate because everyone is wearing a mask. And everybody's got corona still.
Oh, sorry. I can't keep that up, that whole thing. Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome to the InuYasha vlog. This is another single episode, surprisingly kind of filler, but it does have some relevance for the next arc we're going to talk about, which I'm looking forward to next week. But, yeah, this is basically a one-shot episode. I can't remember if this is episode 46, maybe? Not 100% on that. But this episode is known as Juromaru and Kageromaru. I cannot pronounce the two for the life of me, and you'll see why in a sec. So, the episode opens where our heroes left off. We're now back on the road, trying to find the sacred jewel shards. And, Koga shows up to visit our heroes, obviously to check in on Kagome, because he's still in love with her, still considers him his woman, and it makes InuYasha, of course, very jealous, and, you know, the two start squabbling and stuff. And, you know, it's classic banter, essentially. Obviously, leaving saying, take care of Kagome or I'm gonna have to kill you, and obviously Kagome's pretty flattered. Meanwhile, while that's going on, as Koga is also wanting to ask our heroes about where Naraku could be, and they have no frickin' clue. So Koga's like, okay, yeah, screw this. But then he picks up a scent and realizes it's the same scent as Kagero who killed his comrades. So he goes out into the forest and he discovers, of course, Naraku. Which you're thinking, why would Naraku, number one, be out in the middle of nowhere, unsafe, after that, still that damage he's still healing from Kagome that he took from that arrow a while ago. But basically, it turns out Naraku, it's the funny way he comes in, too. He comes in riding a carriage with a skeleton horse. I don't know why he never uses this later, but who knows. But he comes across Koga and is like, oh, so you're the wolf demon tribe pup that I fucked with a couple of weeks ago. And Koga's like, oh, you motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you. But then Naraku's like, nah, you know what, I'm gonna send another one of my incarnations known as Juromaru. And summons him. He's in this big circus cage. It very much reminds me of, like, The Last Unicorn, where, what's her name? Mommy Fortuna's got her little circus show. There's all these different creatures. It has that kind of vibe to it. So, Naraku summons Juromaru, who is this weird pink-haired kimono ninja thing. It's really weird, but the trick with Juromaru is that it actually, he's super fast. So, unlike Kagero, who controls the wind, Kana, who controls the void, and Goshinki, who could read your thoughts, this one's more about speed. This thing's like goddamn Sonic the Hedgehog or the Flash. And so, obviously, InuYasha shows up, and, you know, they come across Naraku, and Juromaru actually cuts Naraku's head off. It turns out, obviously, it's another demon puppet. So, there, you wonder why Naraku's not around? It's because he's a puppet. But he can still read the thoughts of, you know, the puppet through him. So, Juromaru attacks our group, and the rest of the episode is nothing but action, action, fighting, fighting in the woods. In fact, there's some good moments. Like, you have this scene, which is a great thumbnail. I might use this in the thumbnail, not 100%, but it's InuYasha and Koga running, and Juromaru is behind them, and it reminds me of, like, Superman versus the Flash in like a speed run, essentially. And it's funny, too, when it comes to speed with characters, that's the main theme of this episode. Yes, InuYasha's pretty fast, but so is Koga. Koga is technically faster, but then you have scenes like Moroku running, jogging, running, and catching up with Kilala. Okay, you're a human, dude. How fast can you fucking go? Unless you eat a lot of carbs, unless you have a lot of energy, and nobody runs that fast. Unless you're Naruto going like this, you know? So, basically, Juromaru, you know, fights them off, and then there's another demon named Kageromaru. I can't pronounce it. I apologize. These villains are never showing up again, and this one is actually part of Juromaru, and actually could cut through flesh and everything. So, all of our heroes actually, at the end of this, end up really bloody, very damaged. cut to pieces. But this is essentially sort of an endurance round for our characters. We're able to see their strengths and weaknesses and see them through full combat, and I think that's what Naraku had intended to see. Let's see all these characters fight in combat and see if I'm up against them. And so far, he was able to learn it. Kagome gets in danger a few times and is constantly saved by both InuYasha and Koga. And, you know, obviously they killed the two demons, and, you know, Koga takes off, and Kagome decides to go home. You know, it's a great little banter at the end, very iconic moment between Koga and Kagome, and it just kind of ends with that, which leads to the next arc, which is a great two-parter, by the way. So, in terms of this episode, it's probably the most action-oriented of the entire season, and on top of that, it's the one with probably the most fighting. Just constant combat, and it's the whole episode. And to be honest, you know, I like a little non-stop action once in a while. Because we've just been through so many episodes where it's just character development and exposition, but this is a good chance to kind of just have a speed run of fighting, and it's pretty good. I wish more of this show was like that. In fact, I came up with the idea of a t-shirt that involves all of Naraku's incarnations, both alive and dead, but also the Band of Seven and Naraku in the center, and it says in Japanese, Naraku's army. So it's very much similar to Voldemort's army, which you wonder why Naraku never bothered to essentially create an army. You know, he's got all these incarnations. He later has the Band of Seven. Why doesn't he just make an army for himself? You know, a group of, like a whole group of people. Like, you could probably have like 12 or 13, 14, you know, minions, and then you have all your soldiers, which are your armies of demons. But why he never thought to really bring on a full-fledged army, I have no idea. So, Naraku's a very kind of interesting character to figure out, which will definitely be explained in the next one, in the next episode. But, in terms of the villain, Juromaru and Kageromaru, or whatever they're called, again, much like Goshinki, they're very wasted villains, and these villains would definitely be an advantage for our characters. You know, you have one that can read thoughts, but then you have one that's like supersonic speed. Why Naraku never thought to either bring them back or, you know, use them more to his advantage, I have no idea. And I guess the idea is that these ones are more brute over brains, so they're more concerned about killing than they are thinking, so that's why they're able to be killed so quick. But still, they would be worthy allies to Naraku's cause. But other than that, it's just a simple action episode. Not much to say, and it does sort of like just pad itself out until the next arc, which again, I'm looking forward to. I'm more wanting to talk about that one than this one. I mean, it's a great action episode, but story-wise, it's very much lacking. So, I don't know, I'd give this one probably a good, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's got enough action to hold you over, especially if you're a big shonen anime fan and like the Dragon Ball Z fighting stuff. You'll like this episode, and, you know, it's just a great kind of passing until we get to the next one, which, goddammit, I don't want to keep bringing that up. So, yeah, that's all for this episode. And, of course, guys, if you want to support us, go link down to our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features, as well as the potential for an InuYasha fan film down the line. Now, a few updates, by the way. I want to give a few shout-outs. One to Lunachi Bunny Cosplay. She is just starting up on YouTube and everything, so we'll leave all her links down below. She has been a huge supporter of our channel. And on top of that, she's just, you know, a great talent. So we want you guys to go subscribe to her. And on top of that, guys, we actually... some videos down the line might be a little bit slower than normal, and it's because we're planning to move location. So the normal set for the InuYasha vlog at some point will be going away. And that's only because in the next few months we're actually going to be moving, hopefully, into an apartment, and we're going to be having our own studio space, a new space, and everything. But because of our show, the BigJackFilms reviews and the Kong reviews, we're shooting a lot of stuff right now just before the move, so we're keeping up in continuity at least for the next half of the year, as well as next year. So things might be a little slow, but that's only because we're working really fucking hard. So, until then, of course, guys, I want to know what your thoughts are on this episode. Let me know in the comment section below. And join me next time on the InuYasha vlogs when we take a look at probably easily not only one of the most romantic arcs of the series, but also probably one of the most steamy ones. Like, it's a really steamy, romantic two-parter. And until the next video, guys, of course, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying when you create an incarnation and it's gotta go fast, it's gotta go fast. Gotta go fast!